Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our 2:30 streaming show. I'm Jamie French.
And I'm Robinson Miles. Once again, a lot of things happening around the tri-state. We'll just go ahead and jump right in. We're starting off with a 14 News update. Indiana senators just passed a bill to rename a portion of State Road 237 to the Sergeant Heather Glenn Memorial Highway. The designated area of the road would be near Perry County Memorial Hospital. That's where Sergeant Glenn was tragically killed while on duty back in 2023.
So Senator Daryl Schmidt of Jasper says this lasting tribute would honor her memory and ultimate sacrifice. Of course, we've been following Sergeant Heather Glenn's legacy that she's left behind, since she tragically died. And this is just another way that people in that area want to honor her. So, of course, we will keep you updated as that works its way through and once that finally comes into fruition.
Now, moving over to Daviess County, the sheriff's office officials there say they've received almost $800,000 in federal funding. Now, they say the funding will be used to purchase critical law enforcement equipment that's not otherwise funded through existing sources. Now, officials say approved purchases include a river patrol boat, new tasers, rifle-rated body armor, a vehicle identification system, and equipment to create a new tactical unit.
Yeah, so this new unit will be like a joint SWAT team with the Sheriff's Office and the Daviess County Detention Center. They'll be trained to respond to critical incidents like hostage situations, barricaded subjects, and even serving some high-risk warrants. So our Bryce West is in Owensboro today speaking with Daviess County officials to sort of learn what all this entails. That would be a big get for Daviess County to have a whole new SWAT team like that. So he's going to learn some more for us and bring you the latest tonight on 14 News.
Definitely one of those nice things to have a reporter on this, because
Yeah.
it seems as though it could go and is going in many different directions.
Oh, yeah, a lot of working parts there for sure. Yeah.
So, of course, those are not the only things happening around the tri-state right now. We've got our photographers and reporters all over. So be sure to circle back for 14 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10 for even more of what's happening today.
All right, well, stand by. We are going to have a check at your 14 First Alert forecast with meteorologist Arden Gregory in just a few minutes.
Stay informed on your local news and weather throughout the day by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows. At 8:30 a.m., get your First Alert forecast to plan the day ahead and catch up on the news that happened overnight with the 14 News Sunrise team. In the afternoon, get the latest headlines, forecasts, and a preview of the stories we're working on with the 14 First Alert streaming show at 2:30. And get an in-depth look at the 14 First Alert forecast so you're ready for the next big thing with the 14 First Alert weather show at 9 p.m. Watch the 14 First Alert streaming show that fits your schedule and works best for you. Streaming on your phone by downloading the 14 News app and the 14 First Alert weather app. On your smart TV by using the 14 News streaming app. And stream anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or on 14news.com. Stay connected and stay informed by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows on your favorite streaming devices.
Good afternoon. I'm 14 First Alert meteorologist Arden Gregory, and this is a live look at the Owensboro riverfront. If you look closely here, you can actually see chunks of ice floating down the river. So it's not frozen solid. No one's going to be walking over the Ohio River, but there are some areas where there are chunks of ice, pretty large chunks of ice, floating down the river where it has partially frozen. But the good news is everything will soon start to thaw out a little bit. Here's a look at the weekend forecast. Tomorrow, we'll get a few peaks of sunshine, but not much. It's looking like it'll go from partly to mostly cloudy, so maybe a little sun in the morning, but then mainly cloudy for the afternoon. But despite all that, we will see some melting tomorrow as temperatures climb into the 40s. And then we do have a brief cold snap on Saturday with highs only reaching around 30. It doesn't last long, though. We warm right back up into the 40s by Sunday, and it gets even warmer from there. So today, still cold and cloudy. Over the weekend, we kind of yo-yo, bouncing back and forth between the 30s and the 40s. But then as we get into next week, we climb into the 50s. But we also have a chance of some rain showers as we get into the middle of next week. So we'll talk more about that Right now, it is cloudy, as I just showed you in that live look at Owensboro. We've got those gray, gloomy skies overhead, but it's dry. So even though it's cloudy, we're not tracking any rain or snow here in the tri-state. There have been a few snow showers off to our north today. Wouldn't rule out maybe a stray flurry, but it really looks like we're probably going to stay dry moving forward. It is cold out there, though. It was really cold this morning. I don't know if you were out early today, but our morning lows actually very briefly dipped into the single digits, and then now we've climbed into the 20s. Some of us in the lower 20s, most in the mid 20s, all the way up to 29 in Greenville. Right now it's 24 in Henderson, Newburgh, and Owensboro. Evansville, the coldest spot on the map at 22. Now, what's interesting is our temperatures will climb a couple more degrees this afternoon and evening, but then they just kind of hold steady. So it may actually at times be warmer overnight tonight than it is right now this afternoon. Our temperatures are really going to climb into those mid to upper 20s where they are right now, and then just kind of sit there through the overnight hours. Typically, obviously, our temperatures would drop at night, but tonight, we have this wind coming in from the south-southwest, pulling warmer air into the tri-state. So you've got this warming that kind of offsets the cooling you would typically see from the sun going down, and the result is our temperatures will basically just hold steady through the night tonight. Then tomorrow, the sun comes back up, especially first thing in the morning. We may even see a few peaks of sunshine. It clouds up again in the afternoon, but it will be a bit breezy, and as a result, it will be warmer because that wind, at least through the first part of the day, will still be coming from the southwest, pulling that warmer air into the tri-state and pushing our temperatures into the lower 40s. So even though we won't see a lot of sunshine tomorrow, it is still going to be noticeably warmer because that wind is really going to be doing all the work. Now, by the end of the day, Friday, that wind direction starts to change. And as colder air comes in from the north, that's where we see that dip in our temperatures on Saturday. Very short-lived, though. We warm right back up Sunday. And then look at next week. We're talking about highs in the 50s, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That would be the first time we have had temperatures in the 50s since January 14th. So it has been a while since we've had temperatures that warm. I mean, we spent, what was it, 10 days in a row below freezing, and even before that we were in the 30s and 40s and have been in the 30s since then, even when we've gotten above freezing. So it's been a while since we've had temperatures in the 50s. It's going to feel like spring out there. After this long stretch of cold weather, that's going to feel like a heat wave to us. But you'll notice we do have some rain in the forecast as we get to the middle of next week as well. So let's kind of walk through this a little bit. We've got this low pressure system moving through the Great Lakes. It's going to bring some snow up that way tonight into tomorrow. And then notice the wind arrows here. We've got this warm air flowing in from the southwest tonight and tomorrow. That's what's pushing our temperatures into the 20s overnight and then the lower 40s tomorrow. But this cold front will then swing through as this whole thing pushes to the southeast. Now, I do think the rain and the snow will probably stay east-northeast of the tri-state. Can't rule out a stray flurry, especially places like Daviess County, places that are a little farther to the east-northeast. But most of us are going to stay dry. They will get some fresh snow, though, in places like eastern Kentucky, probably from about Louisville over towards Cincinnati down into Lexington. They're going to get some fresh snow. Here at home, the impact will really be just that change in our wind direction. So as that cold front moves through, we kind of miss out on the precipitation this time around, but our wind direction will change and colder air will flow in from the north. That's where we see that brief dip on Saturday. We fall back into the upper 20s to low 30s for our highs on Saturday, but that cold snap doesn't last very long. Watch the wind arrows again. By Sunday, we shift things back around and warmer air starts to flow in from the south again. That puts us in the 40s on Sunday, and then as we really get a surge of warm air from the south-southwest, those temperatures keep climbing into the 50s on Monday, and then maybe even the mid to upper 50s by Tuesday. Some folks could be flirting with 60 on Tuesday. I mean, this is going to be a big warm up as we go through the first half of next week. Notice, though, another low pressure system brewing off to the west. As that moves in, we do see rain returning to the forecast Tuesday night into Wednesday of next week. And then it doesn't look like this system will be in any big rush to move out of here as it kind of stretches out and slowly pushes to the east. I think we'll probably see some rain lingering in the forecast then into Thursday. So maybe a stray flurry tomorrow, mainly in the northeast corner of the tri-state, or a sprinkle or two, but really probably dry tomorrow, mostly cloudy, breezy, and warmer. Brief cold snap on Saturday, then we bounce back into the 40s on Sunday. Big warm up Monday, Tuesday, lower 50s Monday, upper 50s Tuesday. Then we've got the clouds and the rain chances moving in Tuesday night through Wednesday and into Thursday. And with that rain moving through, we'll see a slight dip in our temperatures again, with highs falling back into the upper 40s to low 50s then. But again, you have to get some perspective here. We were below freezing for 10 days in a row, so a little dip from the 50s to the 40s isn't that going to be that bad. And our normal highs this time of year would be somewhere in the low to mid 40s, so that's still warmer than average. Checking in on the comments here, Suzanne, ready for the warmer weather. I am too. Sorry, I'm trying to read your whole. Zach left a very long comment here, talking about seeing some misinformation on other social media pages. Apparently some people are talking about a severe weather outbreak or something like that. I had somebody else ask me, they had seen something on Facebook about an ice storm, I think it was, next week. We're going to be in the 50s. So yeah, I would not worry about severe weather or an ice storm or anything like that as we get into next week. We are going to get some rain, but with temperatures in the 50s, it looks like it would be just that, some rain. Just some light scattered rain showers moving through the tri-state from Tuesday night through Thursday of next week. And Laura, as always, watching from Dawson Springs. Thank you for tuning in, Laura. For those of you who are curious about the extended outlook, I will say I would take this with a grain of salt always, but I'm going to show you what the Climate Prediction Center is putting out. This is the extended outlook from Friday, February 13th up through the 19th. So this would be Valentine's Day weekend and into the start of the following week. So we're looking, a week and a half out at this point. Looking at temperatures still trending above average. Now, this is not an indication of how far above average necessarily, but just how confident they are that it will be above average. So it looks like that trend of 40s and 50s, maybe even near 60 some days, like what we're seeing next week. That warmer air may hang around then into the following weekend. The precipitation outlook also showing above average precipitation, and this is where I'm a little uncertain here. They are showing heavy precipitation possible from Friday, February 13th through Sunday, February 15th. So again, that would be Valentine's Day weekend, next weekend. I'm not totally bought in on that. Some of the models the past couple of days have been showing that potential for another system moving in behind this one. That would then bring us another round of rain next weekend and possibly some heavier rain. But the newest data doesn't support that. The model data that's been coming in today, both this morning and this afternoon, really seems to be doing away with that second system and has us dry through the weekend with another chance at rain maybe middle of the next week. We'll just have to wait and see. We're talking about something that's a week and a half out, so there always tends to be a lot of change, a lot of uncertainty when you get that far out. But I just wanted to let you know that the Climate Prediction Center is still sticking with this potential for some heavy rain next weekend. Again, not like 2 days from now, but next weekend, Valentine's Day weekend. I'm not really bought into that just yet. We'll have to wait and see if that changes. But the newest data that's coming out right now is actually trending mainly dry for Valentine's Day weekend. So it could always switch back, but that's the trend as of right now. So There's one more look at your 7-day forecast. I'm not seeing any questions in the comments, so I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. Again, our temperatures will kind of yo-yo a little bit this weekend, so while tomorrow we will warm up, don't be shocked when we cool back off on Saturday. It's just going to be a blip, though. Then we really warm up from Sunday. And I mean, look at this. As we get into next week, even the lows are above freezing. So even at night, we won't dip below freezing as we get into next week. So that's a major warm up. We will start melting some things tomorrow. Also watch for black ice on Saturday, because, and we've talked about this before, really how that black ice happens. If I pull this up for you here, how that black ice happens is you end up with these kind of mounds of snow on the side of the road. And then as that melts, water runs out into the street and kind of, it's called black ice because it blends in with the blacktop, right? So this water runs out into the street as it melts, and then it'll refreeze, and it turns into this very thin layer of ice that can be very dangerous and very hard to spot. So please be on the lookout for that this weekend, because if I pull the 7-day forecast back up for you here, I want to point out that our temperatures will get quite a bit above freezing as we go through on Friday. And so that's going to cause some of that snow to melt away. But then when we dip back into the 20s Friday night, that could refreeze, and there's a good chance we may not get back above freezing on Saturday. So just be on the lookout this weekend as we melt on Friday and then refreeze Friday night into Saturday. You could see some patches of black ice, but then that won't be with us for very long, because by Sunday we warm back up, and then as we get into next week, not just our highs but our lows too will be above freezing. So that's where we're really going to see that big thaw. We got a lot of snow. It takes it a while to melt. We've kind of been chipping away at it every once in a while as our temperatures will briefly get above freezing. But as we get into next week, that's where you'll really see that big thaw, where all of this snow will finally melt away, with the exception of, there are always those big mounds that they pile up in like the parking lots and things, that those take forever to melt. So those might be there for a while, but in general, everyone's yards and driveways and roads and everything that are still kind of snow covered right now will finally melt and be gone by next week, and then it'll stay gone because our temperatures will then remain above freezing for our highs throughout next week. And even if we get some precipitation middle of next week, it looks like it would be all rain with temperatures in the upper 40s and low 50s. All right, I hope that answers everybody's questions. I'm not seeing any other questions in the comments, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I hope everybody has a great rest of your day, and you'll tune back into 14 News tonight. Meteorologist Michael Feckel will have another update for you then.